Hello, my name is Lynetta McIver, Multicultural Outreach Director, AARP, Louisiana. On behalf of our team and volunteers, welcome to the presentation of the historical significance of New Orleans Black Mardi Gras. Before we start the presentation, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you something about AARP. AARP is the world's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan membership organization with a nationwide network of staff, volunteers, and partners helping more than 100 million Americans 50 and over achieve health security, financial empowerment, and personal fulfillment. In Louisiana, we proudly serve approximately 430,000 members with a state office located in Baton Rouge and a satellite office, the Community Resource Center, located here in New Orleans. Throughout the year, we've shared information, resources, fun conversation, and entertainment to give you a deeper experience with us. This presentation is designed to showcase New Orleans as a livable community through the lens of culture and social interaction. In New Orleans, we march to the beat of a different drum, especially during carnival season, and more soulfully through the Black Mardi Gras experience, where history, culture, and music collides to bring entertainment and colorful festivities to our neighborhoods. Tonight, we will show you how and why Black Mardi Gras is celebrated emphatically with pride in our community. We thank the Black Mardi Gras crews, culture bearers, walking and dance club, and our costume designers for bringing a glimpse of Black Mardi Gras into your homes. And we thank you for joining this special presentation. Now join me in welcoming our host, Monica Pierre.
The Black Mardi Gras experience is something special. It is a celebration of community and culture. We love the Mardi Gras cruise, and we love walking or dancing alongside the baby dolls, Mardi Gras Indians, our Skull and Bones gang. And when it comes to the Mardi Gras balls, we are amazed with their pageantry and pomp and circumstance. We are going to bring this celebration directly to your home because it's a celebration of community and culture. It is the costumes and the pageantry that really elevates the Black New Orleans Mardi Gras experience. We sit down with designer Laron Nelson to talk about his process and the pageantry. So Laron, you are interested in mortuary science? So how did you start to get into this whole world of costume making and designing?
Well, I've always been creative. As a little kid, I was creative. I've always loved Mardi Gras. At one time I would do the floats for the social studies projects. I would just make parades in my house with my Hot Wheel cars. And the way I wanted to be a mortician, because I grew up in the country, where I was raised in the country until I got to kindergarten, I think. Of course, so out there you had more funerals than anything. So I was like, what kind of job I can have that will always be around forever? And that's why I said, well, I can be a funeral director. So I started going to school to be a funeral director and an undertaker. But as I got older, the path kind of changed. I started, doing smaller things like centerpieces, decorating. And just one day I did a headpiece for a friend of mine. And after that, it just went from one headpiece to two headpiece, 3, 4 to this.
So you make the headpiece for a friend, but at that point, did you have any indication that this would be a passion and a life's work for you?
Believe it or not, no. This was after Katrina, and I moved back. We were still in the trailer. So I was doing work out of the trailer. So I also started my Mardi Gras crew in 2009. So that was another way that kind of merged me over to the costume business, because I also thought I wanted to be a florist. So I did that. I took the state test to be a florist, but that wasn't one of my favorite things that I wanted to do. I love doing the costumes and the hairpiece more than I love flowers. So that was the way I kind of like transitioned over because of my club, and I, made a phone call trying to see how much costuming was. And when I realized how much people pay for those costumes, I was like, ooh, we have some things to think about. So we did 4 years of the Mardi Gras ball. So I stopped because by that time the business was picking up. So it was spend money or make money. So I paused for a little bit and I started doing costumes really more than for started with Zulu. One of the dukes from Zulu gave me a chance to start with his girls and him. And then it kind of expanded with my club. We had a king and a queen and, a few maids and duchesses every year from 2009 to 2012. And then after that, it moved on to the second line clubs and more organizations as the Mardi Gras scene grew and the second line scene grew and I came along, more people wanted costume, believe it or not.
How long have you been doing this?
Now it will be 12 years.
Wow. So what goes into the making of these costumes?
A lot. It's several steps. It's definitely year round. It starts off with the actual costume part of the outfit, and then it moves to the construction of the framing and the wire pieces that go on here. Every piece of this costume is made from a reel of wire that I get. And then I just have to form it into all these different shapes, and then we have to cover the pieces, and then we have to put the sequins on top of the pieces, and then we have to put it on this. So, and then we have to put the feathers in. So if you have 200 feathers on here, that means you have 200 feather clips and 200 feathers that go on here. So it takes a lot to go into one costume.
So it could take a year?
No, with a team, we can almost do it in about 4 weeks.
So don't wait until the week of Mardi Gras.
Definitely. Well, Mardi Gras kind of comes right back around here. Once Mardi Gras is over, we have people that come right back for the Mardi Gras the following year. Actually, we have some people that know they're going to be royalty for the next year. They come even before the other season is even over.
So do I come to you with an idea or it all thought out, or do you work with me to help flesh out what would be the look of the costume?
Basically, I work with you. You come to me, you bring me some details. For instance, some people may come, they may have a specific color they want, or they belong to a certain sorority or fraternity. They'll ask for some kind of symbolization from that, and then we just go from there and build on that, and I kind of come up with the rest of the design, and we work together. You say, things you may not like, or things you may like, or things you may want to incorporate or may not want to incorporate, and then we go from there. A lot of the times, most people just leave it to me because they know this is what I do, so they just leave the creativity to me.
So again, it's not only the Mardi Gras balls, because we think of the pageantry. It's not only the king and queen in the court on the floats during the rolling of the parade, but it's all these other types of occasions where a costume would be appropriate.
Correct. I do things for, of course, the second lines. They're kind of merging over to kind of like the Mardi Gras thing where they have balls and they also have the second line parade. So they kind of wear the elaborate costumes as well now. We have the dance schools. They wear smaller regalia similar to the Mardi Gras. And now lately, for the past 2 years, I have a lot of high schools that have been doing, most people call them trains, but it's called a mantle. It drags behind you. A lot of the high schools have come to get mantles for their homecoming king and queen.
All right, you've put this together. It's gorgeous. How am I going to get from this to the ball? Is there an assembly that takes place?
And that's the next thing. So when most people come here, that's another explanation. I have to tell them once we get the price, and then I have to also explain them how they get it to where they're going. So yes, most pieces do, you have to transport it in a U-Haul. Yes, so it's a process. Most of the time you pick it up a day or two before from me, or I give people the day of, just so they don't have to try to store it for 2 days or 3 days. I'll be like, you can pick up early in the morning before your event. So they'll come with the U-Haul, and then we'll transport it over, and I'll meet them over at the venue or wherever the facility is that they're having it, and I'll help them put it all on.
Wow. So when it's Mardi Gras, the parade is rolling, and we see them with all of that, are they wearing that heavy headpiece the entire time, or even if they're doing the ball itself?
Most of the time, a lot of the newer crews, you don't wear it the entire parade, but you do wear it the entire ball. But most of the time, at the ball, you may have it on for probably like an hour or hour and 30 minutes. And normally for the parade, there's a collar stand that they call it. It's a little, it's kind of a tall hook that stands behind you, and it's kind of more supported on there, and it just rests on the shoulder so you can still move it.
How heavy are some of the different elements of it? I mean, you have the headdress, of course, you have the mantle. How heavy are you toting these things?
I always tell people to imagine you holding either 2 2-liter drink bottles on your shoulder or a baby on your shoulder for a few hour, an hour and a half.
Is it appropriate to get a price range of how much you can expect to spend from to pay a designer to get this opulent look?
I don't really do too detailed, but I can tell you, you are in almost to the, I wouldn't say really 6 figures, but sometimes you can get almost to about 5 figures.
Wow. What is it about the regalia, the look, the costumes that really brings it to the next level? Why is it so almost awe-inspired?
And to be honest with you, just from doing the costumes, it has mesmerized me for years. So, and I always tell people, sometimes I'm the last one to get paid, but sometimes for me, I am the main event. Most people, they want to wear this costume, so that's why they become the royalty or whatever they are for the club or the organization or whatever it is, because everybody wants that attention with one of these costumes on.
Is there a Laron Nelson signature look, or is it mostly what people want and it's just creating that look for them?
Kind of more of, it's just it's a signature look. I try to put a little Laron Nelson into the creativity, but it's kind of a traditional thing that, most of the time you have on the sequin and the appliques and velvet, and of course the big old collar piece with the feathers on it. That's what everybody, that's what they really want to wear most of the time.
I do notice that there are some boots that are part of this particular look. Tell us about that process of getting it to look so amazing.
So most of the time you get this is the whole package. You get the costume, the boots, the headpiece, and the collar piece, and sometimes you'll see a mantle which hangs on the back or a cape. But boots most of the time come with all the male costumes.
If you could go back 12 years and talk to Laron Nelson and give him some advice about what this world would develop into, what would that be?
I can definitely say I would have told Laron back then, hey, you need to be a little more organized when I first started. So, that's some things that I'm still working on, but it has gotten much, much, much better since we first started.
Going forward, what do you think is the future of all of this? Is it going to get even more elaborate? Or is it going to, so you talk to me about what you see down the road.
From what I see down the road, as I can see now, yes, it is definitely going to get more elaborate, and it's going to definitely get more expensive because just the times have changed. So everything now just is, it's going up. So, but as far as the look itself, I tell people, you pay for what you get, and the more you ask me for, the more it's going to cost. But I also tell people, hey, most of the time, once you do it right the first time, it's like a wedding. It's you invest into that wedding. This, you're getting married. This is just like the bride's dress. So, you spend all your money for that one day, and you have no regrets when it's over.
Do you find you have repeat customers, or somebody will have an outfit and that will be it?
Most of the time, I may not have repeated customers. Sometimes I do, because sometimes you may be something lower in the club as far as the court, and then you become the king or the queen. So sometimes, you know, you may come, so I'll get a second time to see you. Or some people have children that eventually come back to me, or they have friends that they refer to me, so they'll come and sit with their friends to make sure that their friends get the same treatment that they got, or things that they needed as well. So sometimes I do get to see people twice, but most of the time it's a one-time thing, but it's still a lasting impression and a lasting friendship, because when I see the people, you know, they're still just so excited and overwhelmed from the time when they saw their costumes. So it's still that love, that family love.
Have you ever thought to count how many beads or things that you will go into? I'm looking at the chalice, I'm looking at the headdress, I'm looking at so many things. Do you have any idea of how much beadwork?
I couldn't even tell you if I wanted to. And you know, but 12 years, I definitely couldn't tell you over the years. I just know it's a lot. It's a lot, and I've never seen so many feathers. I don't think anybody has seen as many feathers as I have in a lifetime, unless they own a feather store.
I wanted to ask you, especially if you have a night parade. I noticed that sometimes the headpiece will kind of light up a little bit. Is that part of it? Is there a battery that's attached to it? How do you get that look?
Yes, most of the time, because I started, of course, I started my crew again. So this will be our first year role, and it's the Crew Symphony. We are a night parade, and our costumes do light up. Yes, it does have a battery pack that's hooked to the back. So for the ball, you normally can get through a battery pack, you know, but of course for the parade it's a little longer, so we have to kind of get a battery pack and kind of still hook it to the generator on the float to get you that, you know, the extensive hours of the parade.
But again, that adds to the weight of
it. It adds to not really too much of the weight, it adds more to the cost, because now, you know, modern technology, so batteries are getting smaller and smaller and holding more charge these days.
Is there a misconception that you think the public at large might have about all that goes into making and designing these costumes?
Yeah, I would say yeah, because a lot of people when they come, some people know and then some people don't know. They don't realize how expensive the costumes are. You know, they just look at it as, oh, that's just glitter and feathers and a glue gun. Yeah, and that's what they think. So, you know, but really it's a lot of work that really goes behind it. And like I tell people, you know, half of the stuff, nothing, you know, you may order appliques, but everything else has to be made from the beginning, from scratch. You know, every piece up here, this is just a roll of wire. So it has to be constructed. And that's what really, I always tell people, you really pay for the labor of putting it together.
Well, being a creative person, this all struck your fancy, and now it's your livelihood and your passion. Are you seeing younger people come behind you who are interested in this costuming?
Now I am. At first we weren't, but now I'm starting to try to find people that are interested. But as kids, when they come in and realize how tedious and time consuming it is, it's hard to keep them there. But I'm trying to train some. I have a niece, she's creative. She's a Sagittarius like me, so I'm trying to train her to see if she's gonna stick with it and keep the family business going later on. I have a cousin that I'm gonna bring in. I wanna see if he is something that he wants to do, but a lot of people, when I try to show them, they instantly be like, okay, I can't do this.
Oh, any final words or thoughts about, I know you're very, very busy, but
around this time of year.
Any final thoughts, especially can you imagine the Black Mardi Gras experience without this look, without the costumes, without the pageantry?
Well, I think you would still have a little bit of the experience, but this is definitely a part of the experience for everybody, just to wear one of these costumes, to come out and everybody like, oh wow, that's so beautiful, so amazing. So, you know, I just couldn't see it without it, but I can, but I can't. But, you know, so, but I definitely, I enjoy being a part of the culture, because I am one of the few African Americans that do make costumes to this magnitude, to say. So that's one thing that I am proud of.
Do you have a favorite piece, a favorite look?
No, sometimes I think I do, and then I always seem to wow myself and amaze myself again. So I never have really favorite pieces. My piece I wore this year for the ball, everybody, that might be one of the favorite pieces for everybody else. But like I said, that's this year. Next year I might make something totally different for myself, and I might be wowed by that one just as much as, so I don't know. But there is no favorite. I really kind of love all of them. It's just to know that I put so much work into them, so that's why I love all of them.